Hey, Blue Rockers. Welcome to Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. I'm Connie Willis, and this is Far Out Thursday, Signature Thursday, whatever you'd like to call it, but really, tonight, a special for you. It's Baffler night once again, a Blue Rock Talk Baffler. Yep, it's been a interesting evening already, but here we are, and thank you for sticking around. We've got a great show for you tonight. Those of you that are new here to Blue Rock Talk, this is Earth's most interesting conversations. That includes people, places, and things. You just never know what we might talk about, especially tonight, and that's why we're going to bring you our special of Bafflers. Now, I do want to remind you of what else we have here on Blue Rock Talk, so those of you that are new, you'll know what's going on, and I hope that you'll subscribe. We have something called Crypto Connie, which is we talk about cryptocurrencies with Stan Larimer, the BitShares dynasty. He is the godfather of BitShares. And that is all about putting cryptocurrencies into layman's terms. We also have on Wednesday nights called Swellness Wednesday. We've been talking to Margot Toms of Essential Health, talking about alternative health, and that is like hormone replacement therapy and different weight losses. It's been great. I'm feeling good. I know that much. Coming soon, Wasted Wednesday. That's a serious look at the cannabis industry. We also have with us as well, this is the Far Out Thursday that we're doing tonight. It just happens to be Baffler night, a Blue Rock Talk Baffler. We'll get into that more in just a second. And then, of course, Bigfoot Friday. I don't think we're going to have one tomorrow night. I think just because I'm tired and I need a night off. But we'll see how that goes. You know I love this. Also on Sunday, that is Stan's Bible lecture. It's a college-level course, and he asked for you to take him on in debate. So that's exciting as well. So that's 2 p.m. on Sunday. Everything else is 9 p.m. Eastern across the board. Let's see what else. I did want to remind you that I will be on Coast to Coast February 25th. It's a Saturday night. I still haven't looked at my calendar, so if that's not a Saturday night, then it's that Saturday night around February 25th. I think that's it. Guess what I got for you? Blue Rocker merchandise. You can get a hoodie, you can get mugs, you can get T-shirts. Well, not T-shirts yet, but long sleeve T-shirts. They're all nice stuff. I hope that you'll go in there. It helps keep Blue Rock Talk alive. As well as, I think I got one more here to show you. Yeah, there we go. One more to show. And that is where you can give in crypto or my Patreon account right there. And as we said before, Coast to Coast, February 25th. I think you're going to like that. So, how is everybody? Welcome to the show. Give me a big hello if you are out there. And let me know with the Blue Rocker sign. Those of you that are now an official Blue Rocker because you've subscribed, you are in the know, and this is our little hand greeting that we have. So if you can't do that, you're not a Blue Rocker. Those of you going, well, you know, you're trying. You're giving it a shot, so we appreciate that. There's laughter in the background. There's laughter in the background. Where'd that come from? And I did want to do this one more time here, so let me show this one more time. This is important to me. This is very important to me, so, oh, I might lose me if I do it, so I won't do it. But yes, 10 years ago today, my dad passed away. It was a Super Bowl Sunday. It was 9 a.m. He was a very, very Christian man, so his minister at the funeral had said that Dad passed away at 9 a.m. when the doors open at church normally. So he found that significant, and that was significant. And of course, all of us kids were born on some sort of holiday, and he wasn't. But he passed on a holiday. Though most people wouldn't claim it as a holiday, most of the United States would. It was Super Bowl Sunday. So that's pretty interesting. I just now thought about that. Great man. And, oh, here's some neat little pictures I can show you, though. This is when I went home in Kentucky to surprise my mom and dad. I think I had just graduated from culinary school, CIA, Greystone. because I've got the pink jacket on, but I was also the pink chef on Home Shopping Network and a couple infomercials. So there he is. He's quite a jokester, and there I was laughing at whatever he said. And he was probably cutting on the food because that was made by someone else, and it wasn't he or I. He was a great cook and a great guy. So thank you guys for hanging in there with me on that. He was a good person. So, all right, back to the show here. So, this is Baffler Night. So, those of you that are not sure what Baffler Night is, Blue Rock Talk Bafflers. I actually kicked that off. I launched it on Coast to Coast because I just thought that would be a perfect place because it has millions of people that watch it or listen to it, right? So, I don't think it was a bad idea. But what I did is gave Lori Williams, who is a professional remote viewer as well as an instructor, I gave her 3 targets. Those of you that are not familiar with that, I basically had a picture and it was put away hidden and she didn't know what it was, okay? And her deal is to view it just like remote viewers, just like the psychic spies in the Cold War did, just like the military did. And she was to view them and then tell us what it's all about. Now, I could do that with, let's say, a car. And then she can describe the car as much. She can look into it, view it, and describe the car as much, or whatever this target is that she doesn't know what it is. And she can do all the work that she does to try to figure out what's hidden that I hid from her. And then she shows her work, and then we show that, oh, it was a car. Okay? So what I've done is I've been giving her esoteric pictures, which means it's something that we don't know what the answer is. It's kind of a mystery. It's kind of unsolved. We haven't evolved to those answers yet. So when it was on Coast to Coast, it was Bigfoot. There was a picture of Bigfoot. It was actually Patty of the Patterson-Gimlin film. Bob would probably have liked what I just said. The other one was what's underneath, I think is how we worded it, what's underneath Mount Shasta. Well, that was interesting. By the way, the Bigfoot was mind-boggling. So was Mount Shasta. And then the third one was pineal gland. Nobody ever really talks about that, but I find that one unbelievably mind-boggling just as well. Maybe we'll have to go deeper into that at one point because it was crazy. But we won't let Lori know that, so she won't be polluted with that idea. So then we did another one, and I just want you to look that we did it on Coast, but then we came back in and she went over everything here on Blue Rock Talk, and you can check out the archived classics right down below. I have the links, all right? So you'll see those, and you can go check them out. It'll blow your mind. It'll absolutely drive you nuts. So you Bigfooters out there, you definitely want to check that out. And anybody else that's like an alien type person and Bigfoot type person, definitely go to the Mount Shasta, listen to that, and then the pineal. Just interesting stuff. So we're going to bring on Lori. She's 87% correct with the databasing feedback that we get that shows that, hey, she's pretty much 87% correct whenever she looks at a target. You know, she looks for all sorts of things. But when you throw an unsolved one up there, like Bigfoot, let's throw out Bigfoot, esoteric target. We don't know the answers, but we have to think that 87% correct is going to come over and work on this one too, because remember, she never knows what she's looking at. So we have a new baffler that I gave her today, or I gave her a few weeks back. She's been working on it. I don't know how many hours, but we'll find that out. And hopefully, this is why we're a little late, is we were just trying to pull up all the pictures, her actual session. So we want you to see the session. We were trying to pull that up. Now that we've got that up, I just wanted to make sure you saw everything as she did it, because it's fascinating to watch remote viewers. Okay, so now Lori, she taught me the Basic Course 101, and then I went to Lynn Buchanan and learned Intermediate, Advanced, and some of the other higher classes that he was holding. Now Lori teaches all of those, and so I've done those with her as well. It's great. It's great. If you want to learn how to be a remote viewer, I do believe I have all the links down below for you. I know I do. Have all the links down below to meet Lori and check it out yourself. And she's got a blue rocker special for you. Okay, I got to make her stick to that. Did you hear that one, Lori? She's back there being quiet for me because I said, please be quiet. We're going to go on. So I'm going to bring her up now. Let's see. Lori, you ready to go? I hope she's not frozen over there. Hope she's still on. Oh, I hope we didn't lose her. We may have lost her. I'm not seeing you, Lori. So, Lori, if you can hear me, call back in. Just call back in because you are frozen on the other side. So let me tell her here. All this work and now she's frozen over on the other side. So let me text her here. Oh, she knows. She must have heard. Okay. Let me tell you. We couldn't get her on, okay? Then there she is, okay. And then hang in there now. So let me pull you back in. So we couldn't get her on at first. And then we couldn't pull out the paperwork. She had sent it to me earlier, and she was all proud of herself. She sent it early, and that's a great thing, right? But I never got it, so we were going crazy trying to get it. So let's hear you talk a little bit there, Lori. Say something. Okay, great. All right, so we have made it. We have made it on the air.
Wow.
Woo! Man, let me tell you, it has been a tough day, you guys. So I'm just going to make sure the sound and everything's cool. Is everything good in the live chat, everybody? We are all here. I make sure we can hear you, Lori. Oh, I got a big old Bigfoot in my face. Hold on. Let me get that Bigfoot crotch out of my face. Excuse me. There we go. All right. Okay. Everybody is in there. Say something, Lori.
Oh yeah, I'm all ruffled up from having it totally drop me after everything we went through to try to get on tonight.
Okay.
Boy,
yeah, we made it.
If the validity of something is determined by how much technology fights you, boy, I've got some heavy duty stuff to share tonight, right?
Well, hey, man, I'll tell you what, she and I turned tech savvy immediately just trying to make sure this works. So let's hope it does, but right? Okay. So you heard me describe you, I think. Maybe you were frozen at that point. Oh.
I didn't. I got cut off and it was a black screen saying.
Oh, I said that we found you at the corner of Las Vegas and Vine or something. I don't know. I don't know. Is there a Las Vegas?
Reading palms or something?
Yeah. Yeah. And you had some weird high heels and stockings on, but that's all I'm going to say.
My hair was a lot longer than
It was. Yes, that's it. So Lori Williams, I've already described you to everybody, but if you'd like to give a quick bio of who you are, what you do, I told them that we have all the links down below where to find you for classes, as well as getting a Blue Rocker special. You guys got to mention that you're a Blue Rocker if you decide to take our courses. But you'll love them. They're fun. They're exciting. And you're going to learn that you can do what she can do. You just got to continue to practice. Lynn Buchanan, be happy about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell everybody, all the Blue Rockers out there, what you'd like them to know about you before we go into this Blue Rock Talk Baffler tonight.
Okay. Well, Blue Rockers, I guess one thing you should know about me is that I'm fluent in Spanish. And we're
Works
going
on
to
that corner.
Yeah, well, we're going to be bringing controlled remote viewing to Latin America soon. I've already taught the class many times in Spanish, but we want to create a Spanish website and be able to reach into Latin America. Also, like Connie mentioned, you get a 20% discount for being a Blue Rocker if you want to sign up to invest in yourself and your own growth through controlled remote viewing. It's a wonderful self-discovery tool. My students just constantly go on and on about how life-changing this has been. And I have a lot of students who are quite illustrious, who've had amazing careers and have met, lots of presidents and famous people, and still say that this has been the most amazing thing of their lives, which I consider to be a very amazing thing considering some of the illustrious lives they've led. So if you want your whole world to really be shaken and learn a survival skill for the future, controlled remote viewing is an amazing way to go. It's great. You'll love it. And we're going to be having more. There's a lot of students who are filming testimonials as we speak to put up on the website so people can find out exactly how these classes have affected other people's lives.
It's amazing, you guys. The very first time I ever did it was that I was taught that I did it, that it actually happened, that I saw it, was with Lori, and it just, all of a sudden your mind just kind of goes click, and in an instant you realize that nothing's like it's supposed to be, or nothing's like it's been said in your world. Just like this, the first time you know that there's a Bigfoot there, or you've seen some UFO or something like that, where your mind just stretches beyond the normal world. I don't even know how to put that into words, Lori. Are you better with that? Because you've seen people over and over again just learn it immediately right in front of you and get that aha.
Yeah, they really do. It's when your whole paradigm shifts.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're like, wow, reality isn't exactly what I thought it was.
Oh man, when you see it, then you see the target that you're viewing, that you're learning how to do this. When you see it, you're blown away, because you can actually point out, at least I could when I was doing it, Lori, I could actually point out where I was. You can feel the temperature, you can feel and smell the smells, you can hear the people. You can go to the past, present, or future. It's crazy.
It's a great time machine. That's my favorite aspect.
Wow. Now, can you go back in the past and change it, or go in the future and change it?
Well, the interesting thing is, I don't think we can change the past in the way that we conceive of changing the past. If you got into a car accident 5 years ago, you can't go back and change that, make it that it didn't happen, unfortunately. But the future is not set. And so if you were to remote view yourself a week from now and realize that you were going to be in a car accident, you could easily stay home and stay in bed, and keep that from happening.
I remember one of the things that Lynn said. I know you'll remember that. You guys, Lynn Buchanan is the remote viewer that was in Project Stargate, and that's who Lori learned everything from, right? I mean, you got the lucky spot. Everybody wanted to be in Lori's spot. She was right there learning everything. As far as I know everybody was like, wow, Lori's so lucky. That was a long time ago. Now she's like, beyond.
Well, I met Lynn in 1996, and he and his wife became like second parents to me in many ways. They came to our wedding, and just have been really wonderful. And yes, they allowed me to take it. When I said I wanted to teach it, Lynn was like, well, you have to come to every single class I teach till I decide you're ready. And he was teaching every other weekend. And so, I have 9 kids and 20 grandkids, and I had a full-time job. And
she lived in an old shoe.
I had a bunch of nieces and nephews living there. It was a pretty crazy situation. And I was really busy. So when I have students who say, oh, I'm so busy, it's hard for me to practice, I'm like, let me tell you what I was going through when I first started this journey.
That's right. You said you would take a pad with you all the time.
Yeah, I kept paper on a clipboard and a target with me all the time. So if I was in the dentist office, or, waiting for a plane, or even out on a walk at the park with the kids, whatever, I was trying to get in any viewing I could get in.
Amazing. Well, one of the things he had said about the future was, he said, okay, if you're trying to debate between buying this Jeep and this truck, well, view yourself in about, 6 months, 12 months, and see what you're in, and then see if you're happy or not. If you're happy, get that vehicle. If you're not, get the other one. So that was a way to change the future like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. So we have a lot of people in the live chat right now. They're all saying hi to each other. Everybody is, yep, thank you. Yep, my dad. He was a great guy. Great guy. Haven't found one just like him since. That's the problem. That's the situation. All right. So Kim Steele is in the house.
Hey, Kim.
Yep,
Good to see you.
Kim is for the longest time. It was like I always thought Kim was a chick. Of course, Kim knows this. Boy named Sue. So. All right. So let's get to this. We're gonna do a baffler. All right. Now, before we did a baffler with Bigfoot, blew everybody away. Mount Shasta blew everybody away. And the pineal gland blew everybody away. That we did that on Coast to Coast first. Then Lori and I did it here on the show, and went over it so that we'd have it here on Blue Rock Talk as well. And then we did some other ones. Are all down below the links. And by the way, I'll be on Coast to Coast February 23rd. That's the Saturday night. So thank you. I think that was Kim that did that. So thank you. Or Great Grum. Somebody did. So thank you. So February 23rd I'll be on. All right. So tonight, so I gave Lori the baffler, right? Okay. The target she's going to be looking at, I gave to her, what, about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
I don't know. You sent it to Jim, right? You didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't give it to me. So
yeah.
I never got anything
When
from
did
you.
he start it with you? Did he give it to you this afternoon?
No, yesterday. Yesterday we started.
No. We gave it to her a long time ago just so she would, have a lot more time to do a whole lot more.
I've been trying to get a book to the editor. I have a book deadline, so I've been putting that first. But I knew that I would be able to jump in. Actually, I think I jumped in the day before yesterday. Yeah,
okay.
and then I did some yesterday, and I did some today.
Well, you're amazing with it, so cool. All right. Well, before we get to it, and I hope you guys that I can show you the session. What we'll do is I'll show you the session, the actual session, and she'll talk through it, okay, as I pull up each page, and then we'll go from there. Nobody else knows it except myself and Jim. He didn't tell you yet, right? You don't know.
No.
Okay, good. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. So only Jim and I both know what it is. So let's see how she did. And I don't know. What do you think? Should I reveal to everybody right now what it is so they can watch as it unfolds, or do I wait and let all Blue Rockers see it at the end when you do? And then we do the professional summary that looks, all clean, cut, and dry. After
okay, you do have the actual session. You were able to pull it up.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Okay, good deal.
How do you think I should do that?
I don't know. Why don't we let them find out when I find out?
Because when you watched Password a long time ago on the quiz, you always knew what they were trying to do. So what do you think? You want them to wait?
What are they asking? Let them tell you what they want.
Yeah, you guys in the live chat. Yeah, okay. You guys in the live chat. Okay, we're going to go over her session. She's going to talk us through what happened, what was going on with her mind. Now, and then I'm going to reveal to her what it was, what she was looking at. Now, do you want to wait until she finds out and kind of go along with her and go, or do you want to know what it is and then watch and go along and go, oh, what? Wow. So you tell me. We're gonna give you a second here. Oh, I need that little music like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
That's Jeopardy though, isn't it?
Where's your music?
I need music. Darn it. So used to good old broadcast radio, we would just pull up a piece of music real quick.
How about the theme to Twilight Zone?
Oh man.
Dee, 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 dee.
You do that. You keep doing that while we wait. I know there's a bit of a delay. So, okay. All right. Kim says, don't tell. Shifting Paradigm says, wait. Sigmund just says, wait. Kathy, please wait. And Kim still says, I can leave the room. Okay. Right now it's unanimous. Lisa Pfeiffer, wait. Okay. Kathy Ann, don't tell us. Okay. At the end, Great Grandma's Greenhouse says, tell us.
Great Grandma's Greenhouse.
Yeah, great name. Okay. All right. Great Grandma's Greenhouse, you're going to have to wait. All right. So everybody will follow her. So we want to do the actual one. And then I tell you, then we do the summary that you typed out, or do we look at the summary
and one
too?
thing it's good for everybody to understand is that in a normal operational situation,
situation.
Situation. Excuse me.
Sorry, that was a new word. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's like in a normal operational situation, the summary is the only thing that counts, and the summary is usually the only thing that gets sent in. But we thought it might be fun for you to actually see what a session looks like. because for a lot of people who have never experienced controlled remote viewing, they don't know what the structure looks like or what an actual remote viewing session looks like. So this way I can kind of go through it, and you're going to see a difference between the order that the information came through and the order that I put it into my summary. Because especially if you're sending it to someone who's unfamiliar with remote viewing, which wasn't the case here because Connie's very experienced. But if you're sending it to someone who knows nothing about remote viewing, a lot of times you're just going to send a report that's written like an essay that they can read almost like a story. It'll make a lot of sense to them. But when you're doing an operational thing for something where they're going to be taking this information, putting it into a report with other viewers' information, we usually use an outline summary, which you'll see an example of tonight as well.
Yeah, you'll see it if I can pull it all up properly. You wouldn't believe, I just ended up taking screenshots of each piece. So we'll now we'll find out technically how to do it, because we did our best to get on very quickly. All right, so those of you in the live chat right now, go grab a couple of your friends, because this is always going to be mind-boggling. Okay, also, please share this in groups right now. Get people over here. As you guys know, I'm trying to build the audience. We need more blue rockers out there in the world. We got the amount of those of you in here watching right now and the amount of likes do not compute together. So if you can like while you're here as well, that'll make me feel good. And Lori as well. Makes us feel good. We know you like us as you're watching us. Our little esteem's going to go up. So come on, like. All right, and please share with your buddies right now. Bring your groups over. All right, so here we go. Let me see if I can technically put this together. There's so many pages. Okay, cool. All right, so if I do this, what I'll probably do, Lori, is, I think I can do this to where people can see it the biggest they can see it. And if you tell me, and I'm going to put it right next to you, Lori, and then if, let me try another way here.
And I'm also going to be holding my copy as well, so that if I can't see it super clearly, it's okay, because I've got it right here.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. I've got a plan. Okay, I'm just going to hey.
Sorry, I apologize.
You're live.
What should I do?
Well, so I'm going to show your face, right? And I'm going to show the picture.
Okay.
And if you say, Connie, go a little closer there, please, and I will. I'll zoom in, okay?
Okay.
So let me pull this thing in here. Just boom.
I know Kim and Lisa are going to recognize everything because they've taken my classes before.
That's right. I can't get it any bigger, or I would.
I can't see it. It's not showing yet, right?
No. It is showing. Are you blind? She's blind. No, I don't have it up yet. I'm just trying to figure out the best way. So it'll be, right now, it'll be Blue Rock Talk with Lori Williams. So I was trying to put your little name over there so everybody would see you if they came in.
I'm already amazed at your tech abilities, how you make these beautiful pictures and that beautiful little 1-minute intro that you have on your...
Isn't that cool?
That's gorgeous. Yeah.
That's fun stuff. It's time consuming, which means, by the way, everybody, like in the coming weeks, I'm going to be on my website. That's where you'll see everything that I've got going on with Blue Rock Talk. A wonderful web developer is really making an incredible showing of the website, and it will be moving to subscription. So I hope you guys are liking all the stuff that you see, and that you'll go, hey, Connie, you deserve $10 a month. Boom. And we'll all be one big happy Blue Rocker family. Okay, so take a look at this. Can you see it?
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, now.
Beautiful.
And if if I need to go up close up, let's do that. Or do you think it's better to do that, or just to go like this?
I think it's good. I think the way you have it is perfect. And you can do that too if they want to see it better.
Yeah, I bet they do want to see it better. They don't care about seeing us, do they?
No. Okay, so I can always lean this way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. Yeah. Let's. I'll just move it over. Oops. I'm moving you. Wait a minute. Let me move you. Let me move this paper. Everybody just trying to make this work for you. Let me tell you, we went through a lot. We know the forces out there did not want you all to see this,
I
because
know.
it is something that a lot of you guys have wanted to know. So okay, so here we go. All right, again, please tell me where we're at in it. So I hope you can watch it, and because I do want to go up close so people can see things. So okay. There you go. The floor is yours, Lori Williams. Tell everybody
Okay.
what this. Let's. So I gave her a target, and she went to it right here. She's going to show
Okay,
you.
now obviously because I'm a CRV instructor, I want to I want to go ahead and say, okay, see this part right here? That's the administrative part. That's just where I put my name, the date, the time that I started the session, where I am, and that was the meditation room in my main house. After fun and food, this was on the 6th, so that was just yesterday at 5:33 in the afternoon. My monitor was Jim. I didn't have any observers. And then the POCA and POCD you see there are just for things that might disturb me or come to mind during the session that I want to set aside. And the SA stands for set aside. And I do a little process where I set those things aside. And then you can see right there in the middle part, there's the target is a celestial object. Describe the target. That's what I was told. So I did a section called the IAB sequence, where we do an ideogram, which is that squiggle that you see right there by those numbers. Those are the coordinate numbers assigned to this target. And then there's an A and a B. The A is where I describe that squiggle, and the B is where I declare what I think that squiggle is telling me. And so what I found was that I had an ideogram for male, space air, man-made, bioorganic, live, and motion energy. Then I move into phase 2. I decided to focus on the bioorganic, but at this point in the session, the viewer is still really, really just kind of waking up at the target in the pitch dark. So we call this part of the session winking about the site, because we're just sort of blinking around and getting information from all over the target. So you can see under the bioorganic, I said brown, gray, flat. Then I said, note, seeing gray land. In my mind's eye, I was seeing this gray land, and I had what we call a stray cat or an AOL of the moon at that point. Okay, I think that's the end of that page, is it? Yeah, that's the end of that page. Then we go on to page 2. Okay, page 2, yeah. Okay, so page 2 at the top, you see where we have flat. Now I moved to this flat area that I was perceiving, and I got rough terrain, powdery, dark gray, dark luminance, and then I had land. So I moved to the land, and I found it to be expansive, dull, boring. I saw hills in the distance, and that was my aesthetic impact, where I have a perception that includes me and the target, and it's often a spatial relationship. So seeing the hills in front of me was a spatial relationship, where I was now having perceptions that included both me and the target. And my emotional reaction to that was indifference. I didn't really care too much at that point. Then I decided to move to an area in the light, because I was in a lot of darkness. It was very dark. So I thought there's got to be a place where it's light, or I could somehow mentally turn the lights on there, or do something where I could see. So I then saw bright yellow tan, a dark blue sky, bumpy terrain. And then I moved to the man-made and to describe that, and I found it to be diagonal arch, structural, and interesting. So at this point, I'm actually seeing a structure wherever I am, some kind of a structure, which I thought was interesting. Because to find a structure on a celestial body isn't always something we do, right? The next page was just a bunch of hand scratches. I couldn't sketch the thing that I wanted to sketch. So I was crossing it out, trying to sketch it below. I was just seeing some kind of a very sharp angled roof with something kind of glassy coming down from it. So we'll go on to the next page.
Here I come, hold on, here I come.
So on the next page, I'm actually going to move into what we call phase 4, which involves a matrix of information. We use several different columns, as you can see, and those columns have headings. Those headings stand for sensory information, dimensional information, how I feel about whatever it is I'm working on, how someone at the target site might feel about it, any things that come to me about the target, any conceptual or purposes, and then any nouns that I want to set aside. So you can see that I'm now working on something man-made that's structural, tall, pointed, diagonal, interesting, and necessary, that the people there find it necessary. I find it interesting. Some of the concepts that came to me were that it was functional, protective, machine-like, and used for shelter. And then I said, I keep getting that it's a building and a machine. And then I had the thought of Frank Lloyd Wright coming to me.
Oh, I love Frank Lloyd Wright.
I like Frank Lloyd Wright. And then I decided to focus on the structural aspect. I found it to be brown, shiny. There were areas that were reflective like glass. Are we able to pull that up to the lower half of the page?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at what I already did. I thought you were there. I'm sorry.
And then it was cool temperature, smooth, transparent, angled, very kind of severe angles, sharp pointed, metallic. And then I got this random word of capturing. Now, whenever I have a really random word like that come up, we usually zero in right on it to find out what that word means. What is my subconscious trying to tell me by having just this random word capturing? So we moved to the capturing on the next page there. And then I had this thought of a Venus flytrap. And then I was sensing that something is flying through the air, maybe particulate matter, and this structure is built in such a way that it actually captures these particles or this particulate matter. And the structure provides shelter and also works with the environment to catch particulates for use in powering something. So then I was like moving to the something. Let's find out, what is it powering? And I found that there was, whatever it was powering was silver and round. And then you see how I have the arrow next to the word obelisk? It's because obelisk is a noun and it really belongs in the stray cat or cat from the signal line column where we set it aside. I didn't feel like anything was shaped like an obelisk, so I didn't know where the obelisk came from, this word obelisk. I felt like whatever it was I was looking at was spherical and floating, that it emits power and produces power, and that it's glowing and emitting a humming sound, warm amber colors from within, low rumbling noises in the ambient surrounding me. And I was very curious about it. And I felt that whoever was there, if there was someone there, how would they feel about this? I felt that they would feel that it was normal, necessary, urgent in some way. I didn't know why, but I just picked up on that. And then the next page, we decided to move to the spherical. And when I say we, I mean Jim is my monitor. So move to the spherical. It was smooth. It was lined. It seemed to have something almost cutting it in half, or a line around the center, around the diameter of the center there, circumference, and that it was hovering. And I was curious and wondering, could this be dangerous? But the bios at the target, those living beings, felt that whatever this was is very necessary. And then I had what we call a P7, and that's when something comes to you and you feel like you need to put it in quotation marks. It's not exactly coming from you, or maybe it's just coming to you in a different way. But a P7 powers our world, utilizing particulate matter in this atmosphere on this celestial body. I felt like what they were trying to tell me, that whatever this round spherical thing was, that, and there were many of them, that's what powers their world. So then I moved to the bioorganic to describe it. I felt like it was long and tall. Now, so let me explain really quickly. I did pick up that wherever I was right now, I was seeing some kind of beings. I felt that they were long and tall, male, female, angular, foreign, beautiful, unnoticeable, inhabiting. But I want to say that when I first started the session, you guys saw on the very first page, at the bottom of the very first page, that I had an AOL or a stray cat of the moon. And since I have been tasked with the moon like 4 or 5 times, so many times, I thought, oh, I don't want it to be the moon. So I think I might have been actually trying to find another target, like thinking, well, I think this is probably not the moon. I think it's probably something else. So I was moving around in space looking for the closest object that I could take a look at. And so I think at this point, and you'll see in my summary how I arrange things. I arrange things to focus first all the information that I thought was the tasked information. And then the second half of the summary is all the information that I found that I thought maybe didn't apply to the tasked information that I kept in a separate section below. So I'm not sure that this information right here actually applies to the tasked target, or if I kind of moved off just in kind of fighting whatever was coming to me and moving on to something that I thought was more interesting, which you'll find your subconscious mind actually does occasionally. If you find something at the target that you don't like or that you think is boring or whatever, you might then jump that target and go somewhere else, which isn't a good thing, and which I don't usually do as someone with the experience that I have. For whatever reason, though, I'm not sure. We'll see when we look at the summary, because we're going to take the summary a lot more seriously than we're taking the session at this point. The session is just a kind of a jumble where all these perceptions are just kind of falling into a pot, kind of like you take a bowl and you throw all the ingredients for a cake in it, and they're all just jumbled in there. So this is kind of like the bowl with the cake ingredients, and we'll have to look at the summary to see what I really kind of, by the time you do the summary, you have a better feel for the target. So you're going to see where the summary is actually quite a bit different than this. Okay, so then we moved in the next page to the inhabiting. And I got that it was comfortable, and then I got a P7 of this is home. And I felt like it was unusual and strange and foreign to me. And then I also had a sense that the darkness is long, like wherever I was, the darkness is longer here than it would be on Earth, for example, that it felt strange. And there was something very desolate about it. And then I wanted to mentally reach out and touch whatever this being was. And I felt that their skin, or the skin of the being that I was touching, was sticky and moist. And I had an gross kind of reaction to it. I felt that the skin color was strange, that it smelled bad, and it had kind of a mottled appearance, like spotting patterns on the skin. And yet the people there, or the beings there, felt that it was beautiful, their perception. They were also bald and hairless, long-necked, naked, long-limbed, soft-spoken, kind and gentle. And then going on to the next one, moving again to still talking about these same creatures. They were bluish green, yellowish blotches, dark faces, graceful movements, intelligent, long, lean, tall, willowy. And I found that I liked them. They seemed to have peaceful thoughts, very gentle, wanting to help. And then I heard worker drone and fills a space. I didn't know exactly what that meant. Now, I was then instructed to connect with these living beings in what we call the SI column. You see that SI right up. Oops, sorry. Just pulled out my ears. Got a little wild there with my hands. Okay, so you can kind of see. I have to go backwards. Yeah. You can kind of see at the top there where it says SI. That means site impact. But that's the column where you can really connect with another living being. So I felt like I was connecting there. I was like, why are you here? Well, I live here. What is this place? And then I heard the word Andromeda, which I thought was not necessarily accurate. Why are you here? I work. I'm useful. I mine. I gather material. What for? For building, for extracting. Okay. Then, let's see. The next one is page 9. I think we did. Oh, are you missing page 9? I think
no. Let me look here real fast.
I think we might be missing page 9.
No, I think it's out of order. Hold on. Because one got out of order on me. I got it. Here it comes. We're not doing bad for what we, put together here.
You're doing great, and I like the way you pull things up. All right, here's page 9. Okay, so what is being built? So we're going to move to what's being built and describe it. Humming sounds, energetic sounds. And I felt that the purpose was for processing, manufacturing, cleaning, purifying. And then I was trying to think of what was the word for cleaning out the dross on something, like when you have ore and you're like boiling gold, for example, and the dross rises to the top. I couldn't think of what that was called. But I felt like there were bright lights. It was hot, bright, fiery. There was liquid pouring. It was molten. It smelled hot. It was metallic. And then I thought, I'm really going off on a tangent here. I need to move to the tasked celestial object and describe it. So then I moved and felt like it was beautiful. And then I realized, oh, maybe this isn't the tasked one. Maybe this is what I've actually been viewing this whole time, but possibly was the tasked one. And you'll see again when we get to the summary how I kind of divided things up. But and then all this stuff actually went at the end of the summary as kind of other things I found, but that possibly were not the task part. But in moving to this particular celestial object, I felt like it was something that was kind of flying through our galaxy at this time, that it was blue, purple, atmospheric. It was hard, rocky, and moving. And then you can see all these numbers. And if you go below that, you can see the corresponding things that where the number 1 is, it was black and gray. Number 2 shows that it's moving. Number 3 is that it's very rough textured. And number 4, it's huge. And we'll move on to page 11. Now, I was instructed to move 25 miles away from the object to describe it. And I found that it was angled. It was lined diagonally. And then I felt like it was spherical, oblong, jagged, horizontal, dark. And then I thought there was something inside. So I moved inside and found it to be quite heavenly inside. Blue, purple, golden, silver, sparkly, energetic. And then going on to the next page, 12.
Here it comes. Here we go. Boom.
There we go. Good job. Inside, it was sparkly, beautiful, dark, but not dark because there was some kind of inner light in there. The beings were floating, walking gracefully, full of life. I just loved it in there, and they seemed to love it. They were very pleasant and intelligent, and yet I felt that the whole thing was some kind of a biomachine, that the celestial body itself is a biomachine and has intelligence. So I moved to the biomachine and found it moving slowly, carrying life, multiple beings. I have a sense that this biomechanical is alive, but was created and has a purpose to travel through space to gather information and to learn, and that the beings inside keep it going and also thrive themselves. They're not human, but they do have gender. And we're going on to page 13. So now I moved to the biomachine again. I feel like it felt like a living spaceship to me. So I moved to the origin of the biomachine to describe and felt that it was massive, round, planetary, white, much bigger than Earth, ancient, white beige. We can go on to page 14.
Well, can you talk about that picture there?
Yeah, this picture is really, what I sensed from this picture is that this was actually the location that created whatever the task celestial object is. And we're going to be coming to that in a few minutes. But so far, really, I haven't talked a whole lot about the tasked object. I feel like I was completely on another place at that point. So this big round ball that you saw on page 13 is actually the origin where the tasked thing was created. And we're going to be talking about that. So this big planet where all this originated was spinning and revolving. I don't see anything else around it. It also feels alive, intelligent, guiding, instructing, full of beings. It sent the celestial object out on a mission, and the mission was exploratory and experimental. I found it fascinating. Some of the purposes were capturing information, capturing samples. It was porous. So I think now that I moved back to the biomechanical, and the porousness of that other thing that I was describing allows it to capture information and materials from space for analysis, study, and use, almost like a very finely woven net that's three-dimensional rather than being just one-dimensional. It felt like it was powered by spherical glowing objects. Now, at that point, I took a break and I started back today at 12:34 on page 15. And you can see I started back with another ideogram. Again, found motion energy, man-made, bioorganic, space, air, and land. And so then I went ahead and moved to the origin of the celestial body, the one that I was tasked with. At this point, I decided that maybe yesterday I wasn't Oh, excuse me. I think I'm going to sneeze. I hope not. Okay. Yesterday, I wasn't maybe focusing on the right target. I thought, that maybe I had just kind of moved myself to this thing that was flowing through space that just looks like a giant rock, but there's more to it than just being a rock. And so now I wanted to move myself to the tasked celestial body, which is whatever you tasked me with, Connie. So now I'm looking at the origin of whatever that is, and I found gray, yellow, white, round, orbital, spherical, floating, and it made me curious. So now going to what was the origin of this celestial body that you've tasked me with? I felt that it was created by something. So when I went to wherever the origin was, I found that it was dark, that there was an absence of light. It was vast and ancient, and I was seeing visuals of men walking in robes with very strange structures behind them. So you can kind of see there my attempt to draw a man in a robe with structures behind him.
I think you did pretty good. That looks pretty good. It looks like R2-D2 behind him. That's what
it was some kind of a building, some kind of a domed building. Now, here's where things really start getting interesting on page 17.
Here it comes. I'm sorry. There you go.
Now, I was trying to move to the origin of whatever the celestial body that you were inquiring about. So we're not talking about the celestial body. We're actually talking about what was the origin of it, right? So the purpose, the origin of it, it was actually developed because there was scarcity and lack. In the origin, it came from a place that was dry and desert-like, yet scientific, and it was originated out of a need. And I felt that what was originated was a satellite of some sort, orbiting, hollow, contained, enclosed. And I said probably all-dimensional. I'm not sure now what that meant, but you can kind of see my little sketch here that this the outside of whatever this thing is kind of unremarkable, but the inside is quite interesting. That it's hollow, and inside it's kind of a biosphere. So we can go on to page 18, and there again, staying on the origin of whatever this thing is. It came from very far away, very distant place. It was created. It was man-made to some degree. Although when I say man-made, it might not necessarily have been man that made it. It could have been a creature or another species or whatever. But man-made just meaning it didn't form naturally. Does that make sense? So I felt like it was for protection. It was created for protection, for safety, for escape, and for mining. I don't know if it was created for mining, but mining is something that happens there. It feels really, when you're standing on top of it, it feels very desolate and barren, but yet it is valuable. It's scientific, it's experimental. I had the concepts of try it out, give it a chance, see if it works. It feels to me, though, and I really felt a lot of resistance to this perception, which is why I wrote it down, because when you feel resistant to something, oftentimes it's because it's a perception that is really important and it doesn't fit with whichever direction you're going, so you kind of resist it and you don't want to write it down. But I had this sense that whatever this is in its own way is a living organism. So when I moved to it, I found that at least inside, it's very living. It's green, abundant, round, growing, verdant, like my sketch. And it was round, it was moving, and then I was sensing that in some way it was breathing. It was like expanding and contracting. This round, whatever it is, this round satellite thing is expanding and contracting. And then I felt like it had a hard outer shell protecting inner inhabitants. External inhabitants were there as well. They were ugly, huge, foreign, threatening, territorial, and they were busy mining, extracting, plundering. They were unaware of my presence, unaware, they were oblivious. They're very territorial. So then I moved to the man-made to describe it, and I felt like whatever this thing is, it's not natural. This thing that you've tasked me with, it's not natural. And I felt that there's equipment on it that is gray, silver, huge, massive, strong. It's operated, it's controlled. I found it kind of scary, this huge equipment. And I felt that whoever was operating it was dull. They were very focused, though, very one-track minded, very goal-oriented. Then Jim asked me to move to the nature of the celestial body to describe. So I found it contrived. It was round, planned, set in place, wherever it is, it was put there. And the purpose to observe, to research, to watch, to experiment, and that it was I had the word outpost come to me, which I thought was odd. It was kind of random. I was like, oh, outpost, is it an outpost? So then I decided to move to the word outpost, move to the outpost and describe. I got the words raining and fiery. I didn't know why I got those, so I set them aside. They just didn't feel coherent. When something doesn't feel quite right, I set it aside in the what we call cats from the signal line section. And I wrote down, I have a feeling that something catastrophic was the reason that this was created, to escape something deadly and to observe a new dawn, a bright evolution, watching us. I feel like they're watching us. And then there were the concepts of collaboration, collusion, evolution, progress, development, learning. For some reason, my scanner put a big line down the middle of the page. I'm not sure why. Then move to the future of the celestial body and describe, Jim asked me to. So I found blue, abandoned, floating, lonely, and concepts of abandoned equipment, abandoned substation, ran out of food, baker's oven. I don't even remember writing that down. I don't know where I got baker's oven, and that it was hot there. And that's where I ended my session. That's where I ended the session. So that was my session. Now, if you don't mind, if we could pull up the summary.
Okay, so you want to do the summary now? You don't want to know it yet. You just want to go to the summary.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the summary because the summary is so much clearer and is better organized than the actual session. And I'd like for people to see how, when the viewer has better sight contact and writes the summary, still not knowing what the target is.
Right. That's right.
The viewer has to. Yeah. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's what separates the men from the boys, as we say.
That's right.
And so this is where we get to see how is the viewer now going to organize all this crazy information to where it's going to make sense to the tasker. In this case, Connie, you're the tasker. But imagine if you were a person that knew nothing about remote viewing, and you're trying to make heads or tails of all this crazy information. That's why we don't send people the actual sessions. We send the summaries only.
And if you're trying to make heads or tails of what's going on, this is Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis, Earth's most interesting conversations. That includes people, places, and things out there. We know they're out there. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, be a Blue Rocker. That's someone in the know, and that's our little hand signal. Lots of great shows here, and tonight is our signature Thursday. It's our Far Out Thursday. It's the night we began here on Blue Rock Talk, and what we have is a Blue Rock Talk Baffler, where I have given Lori Williams, professional remote viewer and also instructor, a target, and she is describing what that is. So now she's going to go into the summary, and no one knows what it is. We haven't revealed it yet. I have asked you in the live chat to see if you might know what it is, and some of you have given some answers. So, throw out what you think it is along the way. So we'll pull Lori back in on here, and we will set up the summary, which is all typed up beautifully and hopefully in the right order for you.
I hope so.
We'll find out. It's been a crazy
night. I hope that I wrote it in the right order.
Oh my gosh. You all, somebody somewhere out there did not want this to be seen. You know how when we do UFO stories or some sort of where we're going to get the answer, and it happens either here on Blue Rock Talk, it happens on Coast to Coast, and I'm sure it happens in any other formats and other places that you've been to, Lori. It just
it's
just the way it is.
Last night I was by myself in the kitchen, and I was actually sitting in the dining area, and suddenly a fork goes flying across the kitchen. Just random.
That's the Bigfoot, right? You think it's the Bigfoot?
Like, okay, hello, whoever you are.
That's wild. If I saw that, are you on ley lines or anything where you are?
I don't know, but we are right on the edge of the national forest. So, I mean, like our property used to be used to be forest, and now it's 80 acres sitting with the west gate opening right into the national forest.
Wow. Well, she had said, you guys, after she did the Baffler on Bigfoot, that she had all this activity afterwards. We did a show on it on Coast even. Okay, so you ready? Here we go. Here's the summary.
Okay, so you can see a summary has to be well organized, typed up. We try to make them as professional as possible. This was actually a very fast summary because I didn't have a lot of time. Normally, it would have a cover and it would have our logo and be very, very professional. But this is just, to show you guys we don't need all that fancy stuff. This target was assigned by Connie Willis as a blind tasking. The front loading was the target is a celestial body. Describe the target. The target contains elements of space air, land, man-made, bioorganic live, male, motion energy. The external, obvious, and easily visible parts of this target, if one were physically present at the target site. Now, this is talking about what you tasked me with, Connie, nothing else, right? So I'm either right or wrong. I'm exposing myself on live YouTube. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. That's my drum roll. So, I'm either going to make a fool of myself or not. But because the only thing that matters is the summary, right? So that's the only thing you can score me on, not the session. So here's what I'm saying about your target. The land, it has land, which is rough terrain, powdery, dark gray, dark luminance, expansive, dull, boring, hilly in the distance, desolate, barren, and the hours of darkness seem longer here. That's part of it. Now, next, moving on to an area that is lit up for better visibility. I found it to be bright, yellow tan, with a dark blue sky and bumpy terrain. Moving miles away for a better look, the celestial body is beautiful, rocky, and then we're moving on to the next page. Hard, moving, orbiting. There's little atmosphere, if any. Looking up, the sky, if you want to call it a sky, since there's no atmosphere, appears almost black. It's kind of almost a purple, dark blue. And the origin of this celestial body is a location, which is vast, very distant, came from very far away, ancient, dry, desert-like, and ruled by males who are robed. There's a sense of scarcity, lack, and scientific. And then again, you see here that I've got this big celestial body here, much bigger than Earth, it says. The celestial body was created, man-made to some degree, for the purpose of for the purpose of protection, escape, mining, experimentation, not natural or naturally formed, originated out of a need, is a satellite of sorts, is considered valuable for many reasons, contrived, planned, set in place to observe, to research, to watch, to experiment. All right, moving on. Okay, we'll see how I'm doing. I hope I'm doing okay. It seems that a catastrophic event was the reason the celestial body was created, to escape something deadly and to observe what was considered to be, quote, a new dawn, a bright evolution. Concepts that were involved in the creation of this celestial body are collaboration, collusion, evolution, progress, development, learning. The celestial body is orbiting, hollow, enclosed, and contained and enclosed. I also felt resistant to a perception that this celestial body is somehow a living organism. Inside this celestial body is a biosphere full of plant life, green, abundant, growing, verdant. It seems to be breathing in the sense that it's expanding and contracting. It was purposefully created with a hard outer shell to protect the inhabitants inside. There are also beings on the outside who are foreign to the body itself, and they are huge, ugly, foreign, territorial, mining, extracting, plundering, unaware, and oblivious. And if you're watching right now, I hope I haven't offended you.
No, I think they're all on Match.com, so okay. I'm sorry. That's all. I think they've winked at me along the way.
I found them to be very dull, focused, one-track minded, worker drone personalities, goal-oriented, using equipment which is gray, silver, huge, massive, strong, operated and controlled. Then I moved to the future of the celestial body, much in the future, abandoned, floating, lonely, hot, and I heard the words abandoned substation. Okay, now that's the stuff that you asked for. So then everything from this point on in the summary is something else. I said, apart from the intended target, I may or may not have what we call jumped target and moved to a nearby celestial body. And this is separate from the viewing Connie requested, but may be relevant and interesting. This object may act as an attractor, pulling me away from the intended target to a mysterious object that is somewhere nearby in space terms. Because in space terms, I mean, if you're talking light years, something like the sun is close, but, it may be several light years away. So this object is close like the sun is close. I don't mean like it's close like New Jersey. Anyway, okay, since I do not know what the intended target is, it may refer to the task location, but it did have a different feel to it than what you were asking me to view. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Is that making any sense? Okay.
Yep.
So I have a sense that whatever this thing is I was looking at that was not necessarily the target you asked me to look at, is a biomechanical object, meaning that it's alive but was created and has a purpose to travel through space to gather information and to learn. It's like a living spaceship, for lack of better terminology. The beings inside keep it going and also thrive themselves. They're not human, yet have gender. And this celestial body is huge, porous, which allows it to capture information and materials from space for analysis and study and use. And the next page is moving slowly. It's black-gray. It has sharp angles. It's lined diagonally, oblong, jagged, horizontal, and was moving through space in a horizontal configuration. You can see here where it says there's black-gray moving. We already looked at that in the session itself. And it's powered by spherical objects which are glowing, multiple small. And this appears to be an object which is hollow. Then we're moving to the next page.
Hold on, I'm getting there. Hold on.
We're almost done, folks. We're almost done. I hope nobody's bored.
No, it's exciting. It's exciting. If you're just now joining us, she doesn't have an answer yet. No one has an answer except myself and the monitor, which is her husband, Jim. And right now she's about to get the reveal. So this is very interesting. It is not boring whatsoever. Blue Rockers, make sure you give Lori a nice warm welcome. Do the little hand thing that we all know about. So there you go. Okay. Sorry.
All right. So this thing, whatever it is carrying life. It's a biomachine. It's part living, part machine. Moving inside, it appears heavenly, blue, purple, golden, silver, sparkly, energetic, beautiful, dark but not dark, inner light, and pleasant. The origin of this celestial body is massive, round, planetary, very distant, much bigger than Earth, ancient, white beige, spitting, revolving, intelligent, guiding, instructing, and full of life, full of beings, carrying multiple beings which are intelligent, floating, walking gracefully, full of life, and they love it here. This is the origin of the object described above. The purpose of creating and sending out this object was mission-based, exploratory, experimental. We're on the next page now, page 7. Experimental, fascinating, to capture information, to capture samples. And then I moved to the man-made element to describe it. It was something structural, which was diagonal, arched, interesting, tall, pointed. And man-made structural element found at the target site continued. I had that because I was actually at a page break, but then when things moved around, the page break wasn't there, and I forgot to erase that. But anyway, it's functional, protective, machine-like, for shelter. It's brown, shiny, has reflective areas that are glass-like, cool temperature, smooth, transparent, angled, severe pointed, metallic, and capturing. And at this point in the session, I sensed that this man-made structure is multi-purpose. It provides shelter and protection to its occupants, while at the same time it captures minute particulate compounds in the environment that are used as a power or fuel source. And moving to that which is being powered by the particulate compound, I found an object which is silver, round, spherical, smooth, lined horizontally around the circumference, floating, hovering, emitting power, producing power, glowing, making a humming sound, creating warm amber colors from within. There are low rumbling ambient noises around, and this object is considered normal, very necessary, urgently needed by those it serves. It powers our world. Moving to the living beings I encountered, male and female, they're foreign to me, strange to me, beautiful, inhabiting this area, comfortable. And the physical build of these beings is long, lean, willowy, tall, angular, very long-limbed. Faces are long and oval, dark, and they are bald, hairless, long-necked, naked, soft-spoken, kind, gentle. They have peaceful thoughts. They want to help. They have skin, which is sticky, moist, strange colored, mottled appearance. So you can see how I reorganized things because the stuff about the skin was scattered all over the pages of that in the session. So I found that it had spotty patterns. It smelled bad. It was bluish green in color, and the blotches on the skin were yellowish. And these beings feel that they're working, they're useful, mining, extracting, building materials. And the job of these beings is to mine materials from this location to build, processing, manufacturing, cleaning, purifying. And in the area, there are humming sounds, energetic sounds, bright lights, something which is fiery, liquidy, pouring, molten, smells hot.
And
dull.
page 10.
Page 10, if I got to, oh, sorry.
There you go.
Where are we? Oh, metallic. Oh, great. Yeah, you're right. Page 10 is just metallic.
One little word.
One little word. That was the end of it. I guess that was the end of that. Okay. So that was it. I think that's it.
All right.
So now you have to tell me. Am I gonna be forever humiliated?
Maybe so. All right. So now, Blue Rockers. So now what we've got, Blue Rockers, if you're just now joining us, this is Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis on a Far Out Thursday, a signature Thursday. It is when we do a Blue Rock Talk Baffler with Lori Williams, our guest, professional remote viewer, as well as an instructor. All her classes, all her information is down below. If you take a class, she'll give you a Blue Rocker special, so make sure you say that. So I asked people what they thought in the live chat. So before we announce what she looked at as a target that I gave her, that only myself and Jim, her husband, who was the monitor for this, know. Let me see what you guys have guessed out here. Okay. I saw some guesses earlier, so they're back a little bit, I guess. Darn it.
So do I have to go to YouTube to see what you're seeing? I probably do, huh?
Yeah, but it's going to be a little bit behind. But yeah, if you do that, you can see it. So does anybody have any guesses out there? Please hit that like button. Let us know you're liking the show. And those of you that have always wanted to remote view, you just saw what happened. She gets a target, or you or anybody else would get a target, and you just do all this work. And you just die to get what the answer is. Now, I kid you not, Lori could wait another week before she gives it to you. And then she might forget and then go, oh, I'm so sorry. And you get it 2 weeks later. And you can go, come on, Lori, I'm dying. And then she'll, oh, I just saw this. Oh, it went to spam. You never know what might happen. Oh, I went on a 2-week trip to the Grand Canyon. I'm sorry. So anyway,
I don't do that to my students. Just so you know, guys.
And when that happens, it's like awful because you're just dying to know, because as a viewer, you actually go there. So it's kind of left in you until you know the answer.
Oh, sorry. I guess I have to get, how do I get the sound off?
You turn it, hit off.
There we go. Sorry.
There you go.
I apologize. Okay. I was trying to see the comments.
Okay.
Here we go. Now I can see them.
Okay. All right. So Patricia Herden is going crazy. So, all right, we ready for the review?
Yes, I want the reveal.
Or the answer here. Okay, here we go. I am going to show you. And I guess, so he had the task. The actual task was the purpose. What is the purpose of this?
Oh, okay. So that's the tasking was what the purpose of the celestial body is?
Yeah, well, it was what's the purpose? I had a picture, and I asked him to find out what the purpose of this was. Okay, so you ready?
Yeah,
I'm
ready.
So after we see it, I think it's best to kind of zoom through which one, the summary, or I think
the summary is the only thing that counts.
Yeah, but you might have went off to the left or to the right on the session.
Yeah, but still, we only count the summary. So I don't, even if let's say I was right about something in the session and wrong about something in the summary, doesn't matter. The summary is the only thing that counts. So I would just be wrong.
Still fun to look back and see what you went, oh, I should have put that down. So anyway, here you go. Ready? Here is the answer. This is what she was looking for the purpose of. And you did it. There's answers. It's in there. Here we go.
Okay, so there's the moon, my very first stray cat.
And that's what, and when you said boring, and I thought so too, I thought, boring, but however, no one's ever really, I've never heard anybody really say the purpose, and I knew that well, let me pull us back up here so people can see us talking here. Let me pull that up.
That's a beautiful photo of the moon.
That is a gorgeous photo of the moon, isn't it? Yeah, I made sure we got one that's kind of got some blue in it for Blue Rock Talk. So one of the things about the purpose of the moon is, people say, oh, on the other side there's this and this is going on. But I knew that if we went for the purpose, why is it there? What is the purpose? Doesn't matter if somebody's living on the other side. Doesn't matter if they're fighting us not to go on the other side. Whatever's going on, what is the purpose? And I knew from there all sorts of crazy things would come, because I know, Jim knew where to take it, and some of the neat things we're looking for. So, how do you feel about that? I know you were like, the moon is boring, but you went further, and I knew you would.
Yeah, I definitely think that what I was picking up was that the moon is man-made.
And with a purpose of, it was like watching us.
It's some kind of a satellite that's there to observe and learn, and it's an experimental thing inside. But on the outside, we've got, creatures that are massive that are mining there.
Inside, beautiful. You're like, there's stuff on the outside, but on the inside, beautiful. So hollow. So these theories of hollow, man-made, you, without even knowing what it was, Blue Rockers, just keep that in mind. She's coming up with some of these theories that people have had all the way across the board here. So you want to look back at the summary as we look at that to go, wow.
Let's see what the summary says.
Okay.
And of course, I think the summary includes all the sketches. I'm pretty sure I put them all in there, except for the man with the beard and the robe. I didn't put that one in the summary.
That's like, maybe we sent Howard Hughes up there or something. He really didn't die. And
well, what I think, what I was struggling with on the second part of it that I don't know was necessarily applying to the moon was there's that weird thing that's going by the sun right now. Have you heard about that?
Is that the one everybody's talking about? Is that Umamamu or something?
It's like this long, big black rock that they've never seen anything like it in our galaxy before. It's this big, long, black rock. And they're like, and NASA's like, what the heck is this? It's this gigantic thing floating through the galaxy. I think it's getting close to the sun right now. And they're like, what the heck is this thing? Is they're thinking that it can't be just a celestial body, that it has to be being controlled, and it has to be, it doesn't look like a spaceship. It looks like a rock, but it's massive, massively huge. And they are like, things like that just don't float through the galaxy, so.
No, I haven't heard of that. Thank you. I'll look into it.
It's a very interesting thing. So I think that my brain was like, oh, the moon, ho hum. I think I'll go jump and look at this other thing that's floating through the galaxy.
I think you stayed on it. I don't think you went on to something else. I think you stayed on it.
Let's see. Let's look at the summary.
I think you stayed on it and you went inside it and everything. I don't think you left it. That's my thought. But
okay, so the first part is definitely accurate. I mean, the powdery dark gray luminance, expansive dull boring hills in the distance, desolate barren. I don't know about the hours of darkness seeming longer on the moon or not. I guess because there's one part of it that's dark all the time, right?
Right. It's dark all the time.
So I guess that would be accurate. Then if I go to the part that's light, it was bright yellow tan, dark blue sky, bumpy terrain, moving miles away for a better look. It's beautiful. It's rocky. So far, we're running 100% there on that first page.
I know it, right?
Then what's the next page? Let's see. Hard, moving, orbiting, a little atmosphere. Yeah, there's no atmosphere there. Is there? There's no atmosphere on the moon, right?
Well, there's a debate about that, with some people saying that there is some, because they saw the flags like, like blowing in the wind kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
So
anyway, so then I don't know what the sky looks like from the moon, but when I was viewing it, it looked really dark, very dark sky. And the origin of the celestial body. So this is saying that the origin of the moon was from a location that was very distant, vast, very far away, ancient, dry, desert-like, ruled by robed males There's a sense of scarcity, lack, and scientific. So they came up with this idea of creating this gigantic satellite. I don't know how they did it, but they apparently were pretty advanced, and then they
And there's some
created,
hot men in the robes walking around.
and then they created this man-made moon for the purpose of protection, escaping, mining, and experimentation. And so it was not naturally formed. Are we still in the same place? Where are we?
Yeah. Go down.
Oh, not naturally formed. Originated out of need. It's a satellite. It's considered valuable for many reasons. Contrived, planned, set in place to observe, research, watch, experiment.
Watching. I think
watching us.
I think that's correct. Well, at one point you actually said watching us.
Yeah, in the session I definitely said that. And then I thought, should I put that in the summary? And I thought, oh, let's not.
Yeah, it's
too
freaky.
Scary.
Come on.
I wasn't sure we were going to go over this session, so I was like, oh, let's just not be too freaky.
No, we need freaky and scary. We need to know the truth, and the truth is freaky and scary.
So then, let's see. So a catastrophic event was the reason it was created, to escape something deadly and to observe what was considered. And I really had this sense like they're considering coming here and watching humans evolve as something like a new dawn, a bright evolution, concepts that were involved in the creation of the celestial body. Because, I mean, this was gazillions of years ago. I mean, I don't know how many years ago that it was placed there, but it was a long time ago. And so at that time, humans were still in a very, or if there were even humans here, the planet was still in an early phase of evolution. So I felt like that was considered to be pretty exciting by the beings that were there inside at the time that we're observing from the moon.
So
does that make sense?
Well, we didn't go into like the relationship of this and Earth because you didn't know, and I guess Jim didn't take you in that way either. But you know, we don't. You know, you're just kind of guessing right now the time, right? You don't know. And what if, you know, it's the moon connected to the Earth and that relationship that, you know, maybe there's something to that relationship if they're on there watching, experimenting, mining. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to go there because I'm not sure, and I don't want it blowing out there that this is what she thinks. But, you know, what if they knew about the creation on the Earth and that's what they're watching, or maybe they were a part of it?
Maybe so. Maybe they collaborated, because it says concepts that were involved were collaboration.
Yep.
Collusion. Collusion sounds secretive and like planning behind somebody's back, right? We're colluding together. Collusion, evolution, progress, development, learning. And this celestial body is orbiting, which is true, hollow, contained, and enclosed. I think, what wasn't there one of the manned space flights to the moon? They said something like something, or maybe it was just NASA that said something hit the moon and it rang like a bell. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there was some sort of missile or something launched, and yeah, they said they heard.
Or they blew. Did they blow up a nuclear thing on the moon?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was like something bad, and you never know if some of that's conspiracy. But I remember something was sent. And yeah, I've heard nuclear, I've heard all different things, but yeah, it went ping. Didn't go pong, it went ping.
Well, yeah, and so it couldn't ring like a bell unless it was
hollow.
Unless it was hollow. Anyway, so then I felt resistant to the idea that the moon could be a living organism. Now I'm saying the moon now because you just told me, right? But whatever it was, I felt like, oh, this, can't be a living organism. But then when I actually checked it out, it felt like it was a living organism. I could feel it like expanding and contracting. And I don't know if the moon expands or contracts, but in whatever I was viewing, I was sensing this kind of very subtle expansion and contraction. And that inside it was like a biosphere full of plant life and people and green, abundant, growing, verdant. It was purposely created with a hard outer shell to protect the inhabitants inside. And then on the outside, there were definitely these huge, ugly beings that were mining.
Saying to us, go away, get away. And that's why apparently that's one of the theories, right, that we've landed there before and they say, get away, get away. And that's why we haven't been back to the moon.
Well, they seem to be very interested in their plundering.
Well,
territorial about it.
Yeah, you said they were territorial, they were mean, they were, yeah, exactly. So that kind of matches with that, doesn't it?
So are we, let's see, are we going to the next one?
Oh, did you need the next page? I'm sorry. I thought you had more to say. I apologize. I was
No, that's
waiting.
okay. So they seemed really dull focused, one track minded, worker drone personalities. That came through very strongly.
Wow.
Very goal oriented, using equipment that's gray, silver, huge, massive, strong, operated, controlled. And it was so massive that, I mean, humans would just feel totally dwarfed by it because it was just huge.
The
I don't think
machinery.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything here to match that. I mean, this machinery that's the size of buildings, just huge.
My. Do you think that, do you think when you said they were controlled and this and that, do you think they were robotic?
The machinery
No,
was robotic?
the
No, I don't
beings.
feel like the beings are robotic. They're
Okay.
just worker drone, but the machinery may be robotic.
You think when we hear those noises, when people hear what sounds like, I've heard this before, where it sounded like giant construction pieces working in the heavens.
Jim and I have heard that too, and it was terrifying.
Isn't
And
that
we,
something? What if it was
it
from the
is. I
moon?
don't know. It seemed like it was all around us. The sound, there was no one
Yeah,
direction it was coming from, and it sounded like huge metal things
yeah,
just grinding together. It was very scary.
yep.
And the weird thing was that when we heard it, we were like, oh my gosh, what's that? It was like midnight. And we were like, what's that? What's that? And I said, I'm really scared. That's the last thing I remember. The next thing I knew, we were waking up. It was morning, and we had no recollection of the night before. We didn't even discuss it or anything until about a month later when my daughter called and she said, Mom, get on YouTube and listen to these weird noises that are happening all over the planet. And she played it for me. And I went, oh my gosh, we heard that sound. And then we both remembered.
Yep,
But
you were
but how
taken.
weird that we would just pass out and not remember anything the next morning.
You were taken. You were taken.
It was bizarre. It was so bizarre. Um, so moving to the future of the celestial body, much in the future, would just seem like it was just kind of abandoned, just floating there. So I don't know. Abandoned substation. Wouldn't it be weird if the moon was just a substation of something?
That's what it's starting to sound like.
And then now let's look at the stuff that I thought was about this other thing and see if you think that it's still about the moon.
I still think it's about the moon, but go ahead.
Okay, so
But you were there. It was yours, so you got to go with what you feel.
yeah, so again, I felt like it was alive, and I said that about the moon too, that it was created. I said that about the moon too, so it could be that it has a purpose to travel through space. And at first I was like, no, that can't be the moon because the moon's just glommed onto the Earth, right? It's just in this certain space by the Earth. But then in actuality, we're all moving through space, aren't we?
Yeah.
The whole galaxy's, moving through space. So maybe it still is. It was like a living spaceship, which I also said about the moon. So it could
Yeah.
be, for lack of better terminology. And the beings inside keep it going and also thrive themselves, which I also said about the
Yep.
moon.
I know it. I was
They're not
freaking out.
they're not human, yet they have gender. And the huge celestial body is huge and porous. Now, wouldn't it be interesting if the moon was porous and we didn't know it?
It is.
So I don't know. I mean, is it porous?
I think it is. Take a look at it.
Which allows it to capture information and materials from space.
Holes,
And-
holes, 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 holes,
Yeah,
holes,
I
craters,
was
craters,
just thinking
craters, craters, craters.
as it's traveling through space and it's porous, it's just like capturing stuff like a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, all those holes that just look like they're going to nowhere. They look dark where they think, oh, well, it just stops at one point. It's kind of deep. But if they just keep going, or they just go into those holes and grab it.
As you know, Jim stayed home, and as I left the house, I was like, well, I'm going off to do this thing with Connie. I hope people don't think I'm insane. Are you sure you don't want to come along and so you can vouch for me and say, look, I live with her. She's not crazy, I promise. He goes, no, let's just let them think whatever they want.
Hopefully he's watching right now.
I don't think so. I
Oh.
don't know. Maybe. You never know. Anyway, so which allows it to capture information, materials from space for analysis, study, and use. So
There's your next page.
there's the next page, moving slowly. Now black and black gray. Now the sharp angles don't really seem to fit the moon.
No, and I wondered if that was where a lot of people say there's structures on the moon, or maybe that could be something inside of something that they have, or it just could be a stray cat, but it also could be maybe a satellite outside of it looking like one of ours that, check it out all the time?
I
Or
don't
Japanese?
know. I'm not
Or the
sure.
Japanese are on the moon. I mean, they took that Earthrise shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Well, some people believe it, some people don't. You know how it
Okay.
comes to the moon. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not even there.
Yeah, and then there's the Corey Good stuff, right? Where he says there's a lunar operation command or whatever. Do you know anything about that?
I, no, I don't.
Okay, well there's a man named Corey Good that
Yeah,
is on
yeah,
Gaia, and he
yeah,
claims that there's a lunar operational command
yeah.
that was started by the US Air Force
Right,
on the moon.
right. Yeah, yeah, I know all that stuff. Yep, exactly. And the secret space program.
Yeah, so I don't know. But anyway,
No, but
uh,
what's good is you have 87% accuracy, so bring it on, woman.
okay, well, I don't know what the oblong jagged is. If it were applying to the moon, I don't know what it was, or whatever. But moving through space in a horizontal configuration. So that's where I think I was really looking at this black thing. I really wanted to look at that when I saw that this was years ago, or not years ago, maybe months ago. I saw something that talked about this big black thing that's moving through space. There's photos of it, and they posted the photos. NASA posted the photos of this weird thing, and they're like, this can't be just a space object, like an inert thing like a comet or something, because of the way it's shaped, and it doesn't have any of the aspects of a comet or a planet or a spaceship. So they think that it's a spaceship, though. They think that it's a rock type spaceship that's being controlled by beings.
And that's what everybody thinks the moon is, too.
Yeah, so that's
That's
pretty
why I'm
weird.
like, no, I think you're still on it. I think you're still on it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Now, the thing that I found was really fascinating about the session was that I did keep finding these spherical objects that were powering whatever this thing is, that
I
they were a source of power.
I think that's interesting, just to interject real quick, because some of the bigger planets have a lot more moons. So what if what you're saying is true? It takes a moon powers that planet it is orbiting. And if you have a bigger planet, it's going to need more moons.
Oh, that's interesting. I definitely hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
But in respect to the Earth, the moon itself definitely has
It's got
so much
power.
strong effect on the
Yeah.
humans, on the animals, on the ocean,
Yeah.
which is really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Now, again, we're looking at a hollow object, a hollow celestial object.
Is it time for me to turn? I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I put the papers out of my reach, so I don't even have it there here handy.
Just
I
say
don't,
it.
what
I'm
page?
sorry.
What page are we on?
I don't know. Not too far away.
Okay,
Not too far away.
let's see. So,
You
oh
see
yeah,
it up there now?
yeah, I do.
Okay.
Bio machine, part living, part machine, moving inside. It appears heavenly blue, purple, golden, silver, sparkly, energetic, beautiful. It felt like inside there was this amazing inner light that was kind of dark, but it was still light. It's hard to explain. Very pleasant. And that the origin of the celestial body is massive, round, planetary, distant, much bigger than Earth, ancient, white beige, spinning, revolving, intelligent, guiding, instructing, full of life, full of beings, and carrying multiple beings which are intelligent, they float, they walk gracefully.
Float. They float
They,
and they walk gracefully.
yes, and that they are full of life and they love it here. And this is the origin of the object described above. And the purpose of creating and sending out this object was mission based and exploratory. Now, I do believe that
Interesting.
that also applies to the moon for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think all of it has been. I'm like, oh my gosh, she went in there. She did it. She's in there. I love it. And that's why at first I thought, oh, this will be boring, everybody. But then I thought, you know what? Most people want to know about the moon. So I did think you would think, oh, I hope it's not the moon. However, I was hoping, get the purpose. And I knew Jim would take you around to some cool places. So he did. So thank you.
Jim is a really good monitor.
Yes.
He's very, very good.
Yeah.
So experimental, fascinating, to capture information, to capture samples,
Yeah.
to move to the man-made element and
Hold on one
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Now, the last baffler that we did, there was this like weird creature, tentacles, and you were saying that the beings came down to mine and to grab samples of something. I don't
What
remember
was
now.
I don't even remember the last baffler. What was
Yeah.
the target?
It was these tentacles that someone had claimed to have found, and they said it was from a alien creature from their ship. I'm trying to think of Robert Van Den Broek, and you were describing that, and you had said at one point they come down to mine on the Earth for certain things. So here you are saying, to get samples. That was, you actually said, to get samples.
Oh my gosh.
So it's interesting that you have there to capture information and then to capture samples as well. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if that's with us or the moon, but I found that fascinating.
That is. Who's great grandma's greenhouse?
A wonderful blue rocker. Dedicated.
Wonderful blue rock.
Oh, are you reading? Are you reading this?
I was looking at blue. She asked a question. She said, "Can you describe the huge, ugly beings on the surface?" They were massively gigantic. They were like giants, and they were big, ugly, bulky things that were just like gray, and they didn't look human at all. Almost like standing rhinoceroses without the nose, but just, I mean, you know how rhinoceroses are gray and they're big and they're bulky, but these things were vertical and they walked on two legs. And of course they didn't have big pointy noses like rhinoceroses do, but.
Wow. Yeah. Hold off on those questions there and finish your thing there, and then we'll get to the question. So if you guys are wanting to ask questions, put them in all caps right now so we can get to
them. Yeah, that make it easier to see for sure, because there's a lot of commentary, which is great. I love all the comments.
I know. I have a great little blue rocker community. They're awesome.
So move to the man-made element, something structural, which is diagonal, arched, interesting, tall, pointed. I don't know what that is,
and
but
that's a structure.
It looked like a structure, yeah, for sure. And it was on the outside, not on the inside, to me. At least that's what I thought.
Right.
Man-made structural element found at the target site, functional, protective, machine-like for shelter, brown, shiny, and has reflective areas that are glass-like, cool temperature, smooth, transparent, angled, severe, pointed, metallic. Again, capturing. I don't know what the capture.
That sounds like to me one of our pieces where it's running off of solar and we're trying to get information.
Maybe so. Have we built things on the moon?
We've got stuff circling it, and we're supposed to have some things on there. What if it's the old the capsule that was left there too? Right? Isn't there a capsule or something left there? Or
I don't know.
When they land, yeah. We're sounding like idiots now.
I said at this point in the session, I sense that this man-made structure is multi-purpose. It provides shelter and protection to its occupants, while at the same time captures minute particulate compounds in the environment that are used as a power or fuel source. So whatever the structure is, it has a pretty important purpose, and it was very specific. So that was a very specific purpose. And the thing I thought was really cool about that is that I've never actually heard of anything like that. I've never heard of a structure that acts like a house and yet gathers particulate matter that is actual fuel and turns that particulate stuff into fuel.
Is that the thing that you see around at the structure, or is that the moon itself?
No, the structure itself. The structure is this amazing thing that's both a house and a machine that gathers materials. It's just sucking it out of the air. I mean, sucking it out of the atmosphere or whatever. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I think that's cool. It's almost like, it's kind of taking what it gets along the way too and using it in some way. Oh, by the way, I must stop just for a second, because unless somebody is faking their name, Lynn Buchanan is in the house. He's a blue rocker. He's in the house.
Cool. Hi, Lynn. Are you really in the house, Lynn? If so, lots of love to you. What are you doing this weekend?
He's sending a bunch of smiles. Okay, so so do I need to raise the page up? I'm sorry. Here we go.
Oh yeah, I've got it in front of me. I'm on page 7 though. I think you might be ahead of me.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, you're ahead of me. I'm on page 7. I haven't gotten to that page yet.
I don't see any numbers on it. Oh,
you're at the bottom.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Anyway, so at this point, I sense. Oh yeah, I said that. Moving to that which is being powered by the particulate compound, I found an object which is silver, round, spherical, smooth, lined horizontally around the circumference. Floating, hovering, emitting power, producing power, glowing, making a humming sound, creating warm amber colors from within, low rumbling and ambient noises around. This object is considered normal, very necessary, urgently needed by those it serves, and powers our world. And moving to the living beings.
It powers our world.
Yeah, it powers our world, these spherical things.
The little ones or the big main one? I'm sorry.
The little ones.
Okay, that's crazy.
I know. The little ones, that the beings there were saying, this is what powers our world, whatever these things are.
Now, hold on a second. Let's just stop for a second. Spherical, smooth, let's see, floating, hovering, emits power, produces power, glowing. It sounds like those big orbs a lot of times people see up in the sky and down.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with, like me, I did never hear of Sasquatch hardly till you tasked me with it. I mean, I had heard of it, but I didn't know what, I didn't ever think about it. So I've never heard of anybody seeing big spherical things in the sky.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of pictures of those, and they're glowing. So that's interesting. Anyway, I'm just throwing that out. That's all. But I find it interesting that it powers our world. But you don't think that those are moons in general? Those are just something smaller than.
Well, I mean, normally I try to keep myself at the right spatial relationship to something. I mean, you could show up at the target really teensy and see something massive that really wasn't very massive, or you could show up at the target massive and see something that was, having the wrong size ratio. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I hope I'm making sense. But anyway, so what I saw as small, I don't think it was the moon, but I mean, I was seeing that these things, there were a bunch of them, and they were all about this big. So I don't know.
Okay. Ah, orbs. They sound like you're describing orbs. That's interesting.
They definitely produced power. They were foreign and strange and beautiful and inhabiting. These are the beings. We're talking about the beings being foreign, strange, beautiful, inhabiting the area, being comfortable. And the physical build of these beings is long, lean, willowy, tall, angular, very long limb faces, long and oval. And they were kind of humanoid, if you want to say that, but they were definitely not human.
They weren't the tall gray aliens either.
I don't think so. I don't know anything about tall gray aliens, but these were not gray. These were not gray. They were bluish, kind of bluish green, and they had the skin was bluish green, but it had these kind of yellow. I'm holding up my arm. They had these kind of dull yellow spots all throughout them, and so it was a really unusual looking beings. They were dark, bald, hairless, long-necked, soft-spoken, but they seemed really kind and gentle and having peaceful thoughts, and they really wanted to be helpful. The skin was sticky, though. When I touched the skin, it was sticky and moist. And
you touched it.
I touched it.
Go, girl. You went up there and did it. All right.
Jim doesn't let me get away with anything.
Took one for the team.
Yeah, Jim makes me, really explore everything.
Wait a minute. That reminds me of the session that either you told the story, or I think it was Lynn, where somebody had somebody lick the face of some sweating truck driver.
I was telling you about this couple that came and took the class. They didn't know each other. It was a guy and a girl, but they were from the same area, and they were both really cute and young. And I kind of wondered, I wonder if they're going to get together. And then her target was this really kind of sweaty, overweight a guy in an 18-wheeler with a big turban on his head and, like several days growth of beard. And he was definitely very sweaty. And so at one point, the guy goes, mentally lick the target, taste. And she's like, she had this really reaction. And then when she saw what the target was, she looks at him and goes, you made me lick that guy.
She goes smack that dude.
Yeah. I was like, oh, buddy, you just ruined your chances.
That's right. Wait till the next one.
Okay, so the beings feel that they're working useful, mining, extracting, building materials. The job of these beings is to mine materials from this location. And I was wondering if I was kind of mixing up these beings. I wasn't sure if they were two separate. They seem like very different from the big, ugly, rhinoceros-looking beings that I described earlier. So I'm not really sure, who these guys are. I don't know if I'm mixing them up or not. But anyway, so the job of these beings is to mine materials from this location, build, processing, manufacturing, cleaning, purifying. And in this area, there are humming sounds, energetic sounds, bright lights and something that's fiery, liquidy, pouring, molten, and smells hot and metallic.
Yeah, we got to remember that metallic word.
Can't leave out the metallic.
It's so funny. I was like, oh, 10, no, it's 9. Okay. Wow. Well, that was extremely interesting. And to me, I think you nailed it. And I don't see why there wouldn't be different creatures and beings on this thing, especially if it came from somewhere else. And wow. Wow. What do you Blue Rockers out there think? This is Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. We are having a Blue Rock Talk Baffler tonight. It's Baffler number 5, by the way. Number 5. And
number 5.
Number
wow.
5. And it's the moon. It's the moon that was the target. What was the purpose of the moon? And her monitor, which is also her husband, she slumber parties with him every night, hangs out with him. They're best buddies. They live in an EarthShip. And anyway, he did a great job monitoring. Thank you, Jim. And I think that was fantastic. I think you nailed a lot of the different things that people have theories of. And then took it beyond. I don't think you went off of it. That's me, but you were the one that was viewing it, and you could say if you bounced off. But then you were like, "Well, that's what I already said," and yeah, I said this too.
Yeah. There were a lot of similarities for sure.
I think you went into some areas that maybe you hadn't before, because everybody sticks to the same kind of thing in the moon. But Jim knows that we're looking for something deeper, not 101, and you had enough time to do stuff. So let's.
He kept asking me to go to the origin and go to the nature of it, and that sort of thing.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Now it's like, okay, so if we have a baffler that, like you talked about some beans. So if we ever want to go deeper into those beans, how can I do that where you don't know? Or is it okay at that point to just start right there again and ask for the unknowns?
Yeah, you can. I mean, with a newer viewer, it would be difficult. As if Lynn's still here listening, he may remember that the whole first year after I took basic from him, I would be like, I don't want any front loading. If you tell me it's an activity, I'm going to think it's a basketball game. If you tell me it's an event, I think everything is Princess Di's wedding. Lynn finally, after like a year, he's like, Lori, you've got to start taking front loading or you're going to be useless as a remote viewer, because you've got to be able to handle a little pollution. Real life, there's a lot of pollution dealing with remote viewing. So I started taking a little bit of front loading, a little more. And now, of course, it's been 20-something years. Can you believe that, Lynn? We're going on 23 years since we met. And so, yeah, we've known each other that long. We're still friends.
Lynn's never grown past 29, so he's like wondering, how have you passed me?
I know. I'm 61 now. Can you guys believe it? Holy mackerel.
He invited you to come down, I think, for the weekend.
Oh, yay.
I saw something like that. Yeah, good. He says, hi, Lori, good work. Come down for a visit.
Oh, yay. Okay, we will.
He said, bring food.
Okay.
Very expensive food. Great desserts. And thank you. That's what he said.
I'm still 18 internally, he says.
Oh,
that's neat. So Ira, Wolf.
So let me you just talk. Let me find. All right. Woman, you're not hosting this show. See, you know what?
Sorry,
she's an instructor. She does this on Zoom. So it's like, oh, you don't host. You just relax, sit back, have your beer. That's funny. That's what she's doing, because she does this all the time. Where it's great though, when she teaches a class, I sit back and relax.
That is nice.
I know. I like that.
Okay, so tell me where the questions are.
Okay, so you guys, you have to put them in all caps. So somebody was look, she's still looking at her phone.
I'm going to look for Lynn's stuff.
He only did it twice.
Okay.
So one person, this was way back in the back, but I think you had answered this. They wondered if the surface people were humans. Were any of those us?
I was not aware of seeing any humans.
Do you think that you could not have, also because it's boring?
I don't know that I would ignore humans. I tend to really glom on to people. Now, I did draw the guy with the beard and the robes, but I perceived him as being, from an ancient place from long ago, type of thing. But and he was definitely human. So I don't know where he fits into the whole picture. I'm not sure where he fits in.
All right. Shifting Paradigm said, just made me think of Ingo Swan's book, Penetration, about the moon. Interesting. Absolutely. And that's a great book, by the way.
I've read that book, and I don't remember. That's a problem, is when you read a lot, like I'm usually reading 5 books simultaneously all the time. I read every morning, first thing when I wake up, and I usually read before I go to bed. So when you read good books like that, it's hard to remember the details. So I don't even remember what Ingo said in Penetration about the moon.
Well, everything he said about it to me was, I believed everything in that book, where it was funny to me that I only thought that's all he wrote. I never thought that he did anything fiction. So it was amazing to me when people later said, oh, no, that's fiction. No, no, no. And they debated it being true. As far as I know, I don't think he ever wrote anything fiction.
I don't know.
But if you see something that goes outside of the line, I think that was just his mind. I loved it. Oh, man. There's a story I'll have to tell one time about kind of meeting him. I kind of met him. Did you ever meet him, Lori?
I have never met Ingo. I never did meet him. I had opportunities to meet him. Lynn held things that he came to, and he came to some IRVA things that I could have attended, and I didn't. Oh. So I look back and I go, why didn't I go meet Ingo when I had the chance? I don't know. Who knows?
Man, that would have been tough. Well, you can always remote view him and visit him. Maybe it's gathering photons, one of the capturings of, they were trying to dig for things, right? Look, she's suffering. She's wanting to go to that phone and look at these things in here.
I'm keeping my eyes right here.
I know. And I'm just trying to go through them because a lot of them are, they're not in all caps. So I'm just trying to go through here. Reverend Davy is in the house.
Hey, Reverend Davy. How are you?
Lady aliens, the tall ones. Well, you said they didn't really have a sex.
No, I said they did have a gender, yes. There were women and there were females and males, yes.
You definitely did say that about one, but didn't you say another one didn't have a gender?
No, I said they all had gender.
Okay, what are you looking at, woman? You checking things out?
I'm looking at you.
No, I'm talking about how do you know one was male and one was female? What were you looking at?
Yeah, I've always been good at just feeling genders.
Hey!
Just a sense. I don't physically touch anything. I just kind of sense it.
Okay. What color?
It's a psychic thing, Connie. It's a psychic thing.
She was there. Be careful saying that. What color was the metal?
It was dark gray.
Most awesome baffler yet. And I'm not sure what that I guess is some sort of new thing. I don't know. People keep talking about that. Does that ring a bell from what I'm trying to say? Umau.
Are you talking about the planet Nururu?
You and I
Nururu.
We need our own morning talk show, don't
we? I know. We need coffee.
It's just as fun. This is funny stuff. So now let's see. Lori, we love you, from Kim Steele.
Oh, Kim, thank you.
Day-night is monthly on Moon versus daily on Earth. Interesting. Here's one. Okay. Were the beings female on the inside? Which ones did you see that were male and female, inside, outside?
Those tall, really long-limbed beings were definitely male and female. But I seem to be more viewing the female than the male for some reason of those beings. Those big, clunky, ugly things that were mining, they seemed very male and masculine. But those willowy things seemed very female to me, very feminine. But they were bald.
And were they inside or on the outside?
I think, were on the inside.
Okay.
I believe that they were on the inside.
Here's a great question by GDWSF. I want to know what that means. There's my question. If the moon is artificial, what would they be mining?
I wondered that exact thing myself. I was wondering what the heck.
But you said it was a living organism as well, so
I know. It also said one of the purposes of it was mining, and I thought, now if they were going to create an artificial satellite, why would they put dirt on and mining materials and send it out with all these wealthy wealth of materials. I had trouble understanding that myself.
Well, you
I'm not
said
sure.
a couple things. Some people believe, well, you said it was a living, breathing thing. So, living and breathing, I could imagine that they could do that kind of thing. So, it wasn't where we might say artificial, it's not real, it was made. Where as humans, the more we begin to make things, the more real it becomes. Like we can see a computer, but in the future, we're going to probably have these androids walking around, and maybe already do, that we won't even know the difference, right? They'll be
Hmm.
so organic and living and breathing. So that may be a confusion ourselves with our own minds of here's it's man-made or whatever, humanoid made or whatever it might be out
Alien
there,
made.
alien made, and maybe it's got this organic stuff going on because even they say the implants, if you find a metal implant inside you, that's human made. If you find one, if you can, that would be alien. It's where they use something with the skin and it's organic, and you're not even going to be able to find it.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah.
Well, also, a lot of times when we're viewing, I have viewed several times future technologies that are so foreign to us because we've never conceived of such a thing. So when you're viewing something that you absolutely have never conceived of, and it can do things that you never imagined, then it really gets interesting. Like the idea that something could be flowing through space and sucking up particles that then get turned into fuel. I mean, how amazing is that? Did I lose you, Connie? Are you still there? Am I alone in the world? Oh no.
Oh, right. Hey, keep
There
going.
you are.
That means keep going. I
Oh,
had to let
good.
somebody
Okay,
go
sorry.
potty.
Okay, sorry. I didn't
Potty.
know where you went.
Uh,
Anyway.
I was like, keep going, potty break. Okay. Now everybody knows.
Sorry, guys.
No,
Anyway,
that's all right.
so yeah, so when a lot of times we're remote viewing these things and we have no clue what it is, and it's doing something we've never seen before. And I love that. That's so exciting when you see stuff like that and you go, well, now we know these things could be created.
Exactly. And that's what, well, I mean, I love what you did. It was another great baffler for sure. Blowing my mind, putting these things together, um, that it, it just hit so many theories that they're watching us, that they're mining things. I do believe if it's organic, you could do that, correct? No?
Hmm.
Um,
I would.
and a
I mean,
whole
who
world
knows what's
inside.
possible, right?
Yeah, and a whole world inside. I love that. I love that.
That's pretty
And
cool.
they're mean on the outside. That works with all the people that say that we went there to the moon and they were saying, "Get off! What? Get out of here! This is our territory." And you said they're territorial. They're mean. They're um,
You mean the only thing they learned to say in English was "get the heck out of here"?
I guess so. Yeah. Move on. Get out of here. And we haven't been back and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm thinking this is pretty awesome. I think I love it. She's 87% with being correct with targets that have been given feedback.
Every
Okay.
time you start your sentences with "she's 87," I think, no, no, I'm 61.
She's 27. Oh, I like that better, but now the percentage is way too low. I've worked too hard for that. So, yeah, nothing to see here, folks. Move along, move along. That's great. That's really all that's necessary for when humans intrude, I guess. That's right. That's right. So there may be, if there's other questions, I'm sorry I don't see it, you guys, because I just need it on caps. But I think they're just enjoying it too, and they liked this Baffler number 5, the
Now,
moon.
once the show is over, does the chat is the chat still there to read, or does it go away?
Nope. Well, everybody else can see it, but anybody called Lori Williams. That's the way it works. No,
Bummer.
you'll see it. Here's one. Were they mining helium? Oh, helium-3.
Our job is to describe, not to identify. So I probably would come up with something like that because it's a noun, and that's been very solidly trained into me by my mentor, Lynn Buchanan, not to get into all the names, right?
That's
So I
right.
have
Are
no
you
idea.
screenshotting over there?
I am, so I don't
No,
lose the
no, no, no.
chat.
The chat will be there. It'll be there. Stop. She's over there just trying to talk at the same time, trying to be cool, right?
I'm
You all
just like
saw it. You all
I'm
saw
just
it.
taking photos of all the chat.
No, you'll get it. It'll be
Okay.
there. It'll be there. Don't even worry about that. Don't even do the extra work there. Previous comment was in regards to them only knowing the phrase "get out." Nope, got it for sure. You guys have been great. Blue Rockers are awesome. Please hit that like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you haven't either. And please share this video with your other friends and in the other groups. Help Blue Rock Talk to grow. Thank you so much, Blue Rockers. You are in the know. We'll continue to bring you all sorts of great stuff along the way. Crypto Connie Tuesday, which is a serious look at the putting in layman's terms cryptocurrency. We have alternative health with Swellness Wednesdays, and Margot Tom's Wasted Wednesdays coming up. A serious look at the cannabis industry, and then we have Far Out Thursday and Signature Thursday, which is tonight. Bigfoot Fridays. Probably won't have one tomorrow night. I need a day off. And then Stan's Bible Lecture, a college level course. He wants to take you on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And who knows what may happen in between. But our Baffler series is with Lori Williams here, a professional remote viewer and an instructor. All her links are down below. And Lynn Buchanan, who's in the house, was, where she spent many weekends with Lynn. many
weekends with Lynn.
Wow. Not a bad thing, though. Great
No.
guy. And, man, they've got a heck of a kitchen, don't they?
I love the kitchen.
Love that. Love that stove there. Love that grill. We love you both. Rock on. Had a lot of fun. Thanks so much, Lori and Connie. So good people out there. Blue Rockers is just a great community, and I thank those of you out there that's what I want to grow the most. I want it to where one day, Lori, if there's some sort of tragedy or something good happening, we can call on the local Blue Rockers to go help in some way. I just hope that's where it
Wouldn't
grows
that be
one
awesome?
day.
That would be great.
That'd be really good. So yeah. So thanks, woman. So even though the moon you've done many, many times, and you're like, oh, I hope it's not the moon. Didn't you find it fascinating where Jim was able to lead you to?
Yeah, it was great. It was great to go to the origin and to look at the nature of it and all that. I either have like an awesome imagination or maybe there's something to it. You never know. We won't know because it's esoteric. So I don't think we'll find out in our lifetimes anyway.
I think somebody knows because we've already been there. I think somebody knows.
You're probably right.
Yeah. What was that?
I said, you're probably right.
One more time?
Maybe what we should do is task someone with, move to the person who knows.
Whoa, that's excellent. That's still alive. Yeah. Well, that would do it. Oh my gosh, that's a great idea. All right, you don't know what's coming next, do you? So the Baffler series, number 5. So you're going to let us know when you're ready for a number 6?
Yeah, I'll let you know. I've got a book deadline. I've got to get my book to the publisher by tomorrow.
Oh, woman,
so
you gotta go.
Ah!
You gotta go. Hey, we tried for an hour to get on, right? We wasted 1 hour trying to get together.
Oh my God. Yeah, if this is important information, then the tech was against us getting it out because
that's right.
It was unbelievable what it took for us to get this show going.
Yeah, anything that could happen. And I was set ready to go, and then it all starts happening from her. She's the one that's got the crazy frequencies coming out of her, right?
Yeah, I've destroyed watches. I have little street lights that come on and go off when I'm walking under them. I've destroyed cash registers at movie theaters, too.
Whoa, did you get a big bunch of popcorn from doing that and when they looked the other way? Butter that up? That sounds good.
I think they just looked at me like, you're a really weird lady.
Well, yeah. And you're like, so what's it to you? I work off and make money off of weird. What's wrong with you, dude? I'm paying your salary right now. So now you had mentioned before that if we do, and this is what you said right before this one, you said, hey, and you had some courage going through your blood veins that night. You said,
like, what did I say? What did I say?
You said, I want to do that live. Let's do it totally live.
Oh yeah, to do a session on camera. Yeah. And in fact, I just got asked to do. We're getting flown to England in March to do a TV show there, and they want everything to be filmed. Jim monitoring me, the whole thing, all on camera. And so,
Excellent. Well, we'll do a live one before you do that if we can.
yeah,
Hopefully, we'll have enough time because you know that I've been trying to get you and Lynn, everybody, forever to do that. So, oh, it always kills me when some other show gets to do it. It's like, no, I've been trying to do it for years. So we'll try to do it here. I've already have one in mind, and I think it would be fantastic. So, all right. So you're going to let us know for the next Baffler, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what's this next book that we should be looking for?
This is the Boundless Book 1. It's all about phase 1 of the remote viewing process. So it's the first of 6 because each book will be about a different phase. So we've got phase 1 coming out very soon, and phase 2 will be quick behind that one, and then phase 3, 4, 5, and 6.
So phase 1, everybody, is really cool with the ideogram, the neat little scribble you make. But then the AB 1, 2, 3, oh, it sucks. Just say
I love it. I used to not like it, but once I figured it out, it's like absolutely amazing. It's magical.
Yeah.
It's a magical key. Yeah. So I think that the book is going to really help people who have a hard time grasping the whole ideogram idea and what they're for and how, what they all came up with. Because when you have to put something in book form, you have to really explain it well. And there's illustrations, really hilarious illustrations, and so
is it your artwork?
Yes, it's my artwork.
Then it'll be hilarious.
Because it was like it was a mishmash of clip art and Word, using Word to make diagrams and just a mismatch of all kinds of stuff. And one of the I sent the book out to be critiqued, and one of the women who read it said, it's just the illustrations need to be uniform. You should just do all the illustrations. And I said, hey, that's a great idea. So now all the illustrations will be mine in the book. So, they're done, ready to go. So.
I love that. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be great. All right. So your classes and everything down below?
Yes. And if you go to my website at https:// you don't have to put all that. Just put intuitivespecialist.com. With an S at the end of specialist, and there's a calendar there. I'm teaching twice a month, so you should be able to find a class that fits your schedule.
All right. And Lynn, if you're still in the house, I think you're still working on your shows that are going to be on the computer, right? Well, he's going to have like 100 and something thousand million of these videos. Like, come on, Lynn, just start throwing them out.
He has a very well structured basic course that is going to be available by video. So
hurry,
I'm very excited. He showed me a little bit of it. It looks really, really great.
Excellent.
And hoping we're going to be cross promoting each other.
Yeah, and he's going to do all the phases too, or
I don't know. I just know that I think it's phase 1 through 3 at this point. Lynn, he might want to type in there. I don't know.
Oh, he says just about finished. 150 videos so far for the basic course. Holy cow, that's like crazy. I'll usually go, no, it's too many. But however, it's so interesting, you guys. You'll love it and want more. I just want you to hurry up and get up to like P6 and P7. I want you to get up there and do a lot of videos because that's fun for me. So he says basic 1 through 3. Oh, that's it? Come on. You got to do a P7 or something like that. P6 at least, right? All right. So thank you, Lynn, for also being in the house and all the other Blue Rockers. So, Lori, get on your book. I'll let you go. Go get on your book. Thank you. Thank you for working hard to make this happen.
Bye, Reverend Davey. Bye, Kim Steele. Bye, Linda Pfeiffer. And Grandma's hothouse. Is that what it was? Oh, Great Grandma's greenhouse. I apologize. Yep. Great Grandma's greenhouse. Thank you so much.
And a lot of great people in there for sure. So take care.
We love you all. Thanks so much.
For making it work and putting your time into the
Baffler
Lynn. Number 5.
Thanks, Lynn, for coming and supporting us. We love you. Give Linda a kiss for us.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was the woman, Lori Williams there. Her Baffler number 5 was the moon. Baffler number 5 was right here. I'll show you this big, beautiful picture. And that's what she looked at on the inside and the outside. I find that absolutely fascinating what she did. Now you see that it is archived, of course, here on Blue Rock Talk. Share it with other people. I'll keep pushing her. I'll keep her on that Baffler number 6 to be here soon enough. So don't worry about that. We'll try to make that happen. I already have one in mind that, oh my gosh, it'll be killer. It'll be killer. And I know, I did think, oh, the moon, everybody's done that. But then I thought, no, there's a huge audience still wondering about it. So let's bring it on and get it first, right from the horse's mouth about the inside and the outside and the purpose of it. Because what is the purpose? Even if there's something living there or not, what is the main purpose for it? So we have a lot of those purposes inside her session. So I hope you go back and check it out many times and you share it with other people. Alrighty, I think that's it. Again, what I told you before, I will be back on Coast to Coast February 23rd. February 23rd. Looking forward to that for sure. And let's see here. You guys all know the shows. Crypto Connie Tuesday. That's cryptocurrency with Stan Larimer, the godfather of BitShares. Great guy. Great show. Learn a lot about crypto in layman's terms. This is Margot Toms of Essential Health with Swellness Wednesdays. That's alternative health. She's doing the hormone replacement therapy I'm on, and also different diets, and I'm on those, and I feel great. I absolutely feel great. We had her on last night. We also have, coming up soon, we're going to be doing Wasted Wednesday, a serious look at the cannabis industry. Can't believe all the stuff I've learned about that for sure. Holy moly. Far Out Thursday, that's what you got tonight with Bafflers, also known as Signature Thursday because it was the first night that we did anything. Fridays, of course, is the Bigfoot Fridays. Big. Everybody loves Bigfoot Fridays. I get you. I totally understand it. Don't forget, I think I put the link down below for Bigfoot in the Rockies. Neat little documentary I put together with one, basically not even a half a day. I was out in the Rockies with Sasquatch Journey, a group that's also here on YouTube, and they took me to their hotspot, and we saw more structures than people see ever that go out and look for them. So that was a great time. Their hotspot was just absolutely wonderful. Did I already show the Bigfoot Friday? Oh, yeah, I did. I think I got it twice. And this is Stan's Bible lecture, college-level course. Go in there, debate him. He likes it. He's also the same guy that was the former rocket scientist for the Crypto Connie show with the BitShares Dynasty. And don't forget, you can get yourself a little Blue Rocker hoodie, a Blue Rocker mug. Enjoy that, shirts. And also, keep Blue Rock Talk alive. You can do that on Patreon account. The link is down below. You can buy the merch. That always helps as well. Because right now it's for free. However, I've got a wonderful web developer working out something, man. I'm telling you, he's going to bring something beautiful your way next week or in the coming weeks. It is going to be subscription, so I hope that you guys join and be a real, true Blue Rocker by doing that and keeping everything alive. It was 9 years ago today that my dad had passed away. So I want to dedicate tonight's show for that. One of the best people in the world. There he is. And that's when I was Connie Willis, the Pink Chef, Chef Connie, and surprised him at their church on Thanksgiving. And that's us laughing. He was always funny, always telling some sort of joke, and kept it real as well. And there you go. Anyway, dedicate it to my daddy there, right there. I know you didn't hear me there. That was a little moment of silent meditation. All right, so I think that's it. We did really well tonight. Thank all of you that joined us here for Blue Rock Talk with myself, Connie Willis, and Lori Williams. A Baffler night, a fun night, an exciting night, and you guys, you're awesome. So thanks to hit that like button. Thanks for sticking around. And I'm so glad you all enjoy each other while you're in the live chat. So take care. Have a safe and happy rest of the day. Talk to you soon here. Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis.